19 and 10 seconds. A big hi to everybody right there on the live stream and across the airwaves of the City of Joy. As I said, we are going to go into really amazing, iconic people. And right here, in a very, very short while, we got this amazing gentleman, Hemant Mediratta, who is an amazing guy in the hospitality and tourism industry. I always go a little haywire with names, but he's an amazing guy, trust me. I always say he's in the hospitality and tourism industry, but himself looks like a model, and I really wish maybe sometimes he could actually get on an RJ because he comes across awesome. Well, he's a consumer-led global luxury hotelier with over 30 years experience in the hospitality business. He's regarded as an agent of change who has built high-performing teams and helped brands unlock their true potential. He has created strategy-based organizations scaling up across global markets, leaving an impactful footprint. Being a passionate believer in the India story, he has worked relentlessly towards the growth of Indian tourism. Recently completed an outstanding and fulfilling 16-year tenure with the Oberoi Group, which is his last position as Senior Vice President Sales. Well, he has been amazing across, and he is a Chief Advisor of Leela Palace Hotels, Peer Advisor for the Ultra Luxury Hospitality and Travel Brands. He also serves on the governing body of the Responsible Tourism Society of India. Also an active angel investor in an early stage luxury and travel startups. Right now I'm going to be taking Hemant right onto the restream. There he is. And if you get to see him for the first time, you'll say, who's this model gentleman? A warm welcome to you, Hemant, and I hope you can hear me clearly.
Hi, Jimmy. Yes, very well. Thank you.
Oh, it's so nice to hear you. Hemant, you are iconic. You've seen it all. You've been in all the places where it could be a tourism, hospitality business. A lot of people think it's glamour, and it is, but there's also a lot of hard work. So a little bit, we can start off in your learning experiences over these decades. What would you say are the five main points when you look at tourism and when you look at hospitality and when you look at it as a career? Because I'm sure there are a lot of youngsters out there, in situations like what we are going through today, are looking at all the alternatives. They're also looking at aggression. They're looking at fun. They're looking at glamour. They're looking at money. They're looking at career growth. So, how would you put it? Tourism and hospitality, the ideal career, the ideal growth potential, if you have it in you.
Absolutely. Thank you for asking that question. In fact, tourism and hospitality business is a lot of fun. And people ask me, if you were to live your life again, what would you do? And I say, I would do it all over it again. Very early on when I joined the business, somebody actually, one very renowned person in the business called me to his cabin and said, listen, why do you earn money? So if I was to ask this question to a lot of people, why would you earn money? And what would you spend it on? So you'd spend it on good food, good wine. And when you're in the hospitality and the tourism business, you get it almost all free or for a very, very small amount. And best of all, after this, you get paid as well. So what a great place to be in. So that is on the monetary aspect of it. However, it's a lot of fun. You get to travel to places. I have done about near 40 countries.
Oh, wow.
In my work profile. So you get to travel the world, you get to travel to new places, new experiences. You get to meet a really creme de la creme of either the corporate world or the glitterati. So I happened to chance upon a meeting with Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt in Pune.
Oh, wow. I just love this here.
How many? I know you're in that profession, so you get to meet a lot of them. But how many of us lesser mortals get to do that?
I can imagine, there's an opportunity every moment, every time in the tourism hospitality industry to come across such amazing people. So sometimes you live your dream and you also, earn money to live your dream, in such a way it works.
Perfect
So,
ikigai.
So there are a lot of career alternatives, as he said. iLead has, of course, taken the step to ensure that a tourism angle, a hospitality angle comes in. iLead provides hundreds of alternative careers. If you're fit for X, Y, Z, it's there for you with iLead across. So this connectivity, which is going to be happening with iLead, and of course, and I'm sure a lot of students are hearing you. What would you like to say about this?
So, on a serious note, let me throw a little numbers because I love them. So, the median age in India today is 29. An average Frenchman is 44, and an average Japanese median age is 49. That means we are an extremely young country, and we are a small country, so we are only 1.3 billion of us. 70% of India is below age 35 today.
Oh, wow.
So a young country, our GDP is faring a lot better than other countries. We are the fifth largest economy in the world, and next few years we are going to be right up there. In the travel business, last year we sent out 2.5 crore people who traveled outbound out of India.
Wow.
This number is going to double in the next 3 years. That means we're going to be sending out 5 crore people, and we're going to be welcoming another 1.5 crore people inside our country. Now, all of them. So this young population has a penchant for travel. Do you know what Indians are spending their money on? Number one thing is looking good. That is why you see so many salons coming up. People are buying new clothes. And the next in line where people are spending money amongst the top 5 things in India is to travel. So you have a whole business here where people are traveling for pleasure and for business. And the tourism industry is all set to explode.
Okay, so when you say the tourism industry is all set to explode, I'm sure they would be requiring a lot of manpower. There's not enough manpower to get the tourism industry into that role which is already exploding with. So you feel that students who take up tourism as a course or a career area of moving forward have a lot of opportunities. And when we are talking about a lot of opportunities, uh, if I may be little enlightened myself, if I want to join tourism, which are the areas I could kind of get into, because it's huge. There is so much out there.
Sure. So you could get into hospitality, work in a hotel, work in an online travel company, like a Make My Trip or Clear Trip. You could work in a travel agency. You could work in a tour operating company. You could work in an airline. So any facet, you could be a tour director where you take people along with you in a group. You travel abroad or you travel within the country and be a tour director for them. You could get into the transportation business. So infinite opportunities once you do a tourism course. The basic is that, and that is what our partnership with iLead is, that
Wow.
we prepare you for all these through the BBA
Highly
course in
screened.
tourism.
So they're going to have a lot of iconic, what I mean, education, I would say, because very few students actually get, coached or, get to interact with iconic personalities. They're mostly, people who kind of teach you, but you all have experienced, you all have gone through it, you all have seen the goods, the ups, the downs, and you all will actually be able to give them a right direction. With that, I would also like to get another iconic person, onto this beautiful session, Indrajit Bhalotia, and I think he's going to be joining us right now. His camera is not yet open, but Indrajit is, of course, director of Pro Touch Sports, professional golfer for 31 years, five-time winner of the PGA titles, including the Quantum Greaves at BPGC, played Asian Tour for 12 years, certified golf coach, instructor at the National Golf Academy. This is truly amazing, and qualified in sports psychology and golf fitness. Well, he is also, basically. Ah, Indrajit, I can't see you. If you can hear me, if you can put on your camera, it would be really, really nice. I can just see a black patch. Indrajit, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but we can't see you. I think you need to put on your camera.
Okay. Just hang.
Yes, it happens sometimes. Don't worry. We are all a part of, over the last 2 years, tech has been high, and sometimes we've gone a little CCRA-ZY on the tech, but we can hear you clearly.
Oh,
So
can I just switch device?
yeah, you can switch device, no issues. You can switch device and we can get you back on again. There's no issues. You switch device and click on the link and we'll get you back on again. No issues at all. That's what high tech and technology is all about. There's no going off and going on. Just be there and you're on. So you can switch device. Please go ahead. So while Indrajit is switching device, he's into a lot of golfing, a lot of sports management. And trust me, that's also a very interesting line surrounding by sports personalities and getting sports personalities to get you, to another level altogether. Hemant, if I have to ask you, in the tourism industry, I know it's booming. You have the IPLs, you have the cricketers, you have your sports personalities staying at the hotel. So I'm just wondering, for a curiosity, with so many iconic people getting into the tourism area, visiting the hotels, visiting, touring the beautiful locations, are they tough to handle? I mean, all these high flying top shots which you all interact on a daily basis with.
So my experience has been the more high flying you are, the more humble you are.
Uh huh.
And I remember, it's very etched in my memory. I met Mr. Bachchan, and I greeted him once at the hotel lobby, and I said, "Good evening, welcome to XYZ Hotel. My name is Hemant Mediratta," and he said, "And well, my name is Amitabh Bachchan." And he said it in a really nice manner, filled with humility, and I was really floored. And he talked to me so nicely, spent some time with me, 5-7 minutes there, and it was really remarkable.
Okay, great. I mean, the kind of iconic people you meet, you must be like, seeing nearly everyone out there and getting a feel and touch of everyone. This is truly amazing. Now, if I have to ask you, if I have to really ask you, you know, if someone's really interested in taking up career in tourism and being there in that business, what would qualities be required? Would there be any qualities, or you just need to be a people's person and you just go ahead and you join and you love doing what you love doing?
You need to have a penchant for travel. You need to love meeting people. All skills can be taught. Attitude is something that you require, and you need a service attitude in this business. So, if you've traveled to places, very nice. If you haven't, but you have a desire to travel, and you're interested in knowing about new cultures, meeting new people, this is the place for you. Number two, if you speak a language, if you speak a foreign language, it is an added asset. And thirdly, because you work in multiple departments, you could be working in finance, you could be working in operations, HR. So tourism is a full ecosystem. You can actually be from any field, but you can take the benefits out of the tourism industry by working in any of these departments.
So, there's a lot of opportunities if you've got the go-getting attitude, if you've got the passion. Like, I come from a business family. I never knew, I would get into being a radio jockey or a DJ, but my love for music got me into it. And here, we kind of got ourselves to learn, to discover, to see where the strengths are. So I think that's very important. Know the you. And if you feel that the you is you who can get into tourism and get into traveling, I think it'll super, super rock all the way.
Yeah.
This,
Jimmy,
this is
another thing, sorry, I'd like to mention here, while we partnered with iLead, so we will have all industry experts
okay.
teaching students. So there is a real collaboration with the industry, and you're industry ready. We guarantee employment
Oh wow.
100%. We
मैं ज्वाइन कर
guarantee.
रहा हूँ मैं ज्वाइन कर रहा हूँ This is
And
amazing.
and and the best part about being with iLead is that there is a lot of focus on attitudinal and behavioral training. I know Mr.
Absolutely.
Chopra was on the show a few
Yes, last week in
weeks
fact.
ago. Yes, and he's the mentor there, and he takes those attitudinal classes, which makes it really really unique.
So I'm just curious. I know. Tourism line is a high pressure line. It's not just easy and chilled out. Work could be literally in a 24-hour cycle. whether it be airlines, whether it be luxury liners, whether it be anything. You're like you're on call 24 hours. So today, in the current situation, I see a lot of the youth having the energy and the go-getting attitude, very innovative, very high-tech, very, very computer savvy. So you've gone through 30 years. What was industry like 30 years ago, and what is industry like today?
So
Those, especially the youth, are going to joining in. Yeah.
it was analog, and today it's digital.
Okay, talking about analog and digital, we are getting another gentleman in who's absolutely online and he's totally ready. His signal is totally strong. A warm welcome to Indrajit Bhalotia, Director of ProTouch Sports. And of course, he's going to be playing a very, very big role because Ali is tied up with ProTouch through about sports management. Indrajit, uh,
Yeah.
oh, you're all looking ready to kill. I
Hi.
just hope you don't have that golf stick in your hand and say, Jimmy, if you're going to be asking me anything, I'm going to hit the ball and it's going to go right at you. Fantabulous, how do you guys manage it? Guys in sports and tourism's all macho looking, great smiles, go getting. You don't look serious at all. You seem to be enjoying what you do. So tell us, ProTouch Sports and iLead coming together to impart sports management. Tell us a little bit about it. And it's to a lot of people, it's relatively new. So when you say sports management, how do you define it? So if I'm a student and I want to get into sports management, what do I look forward to? What would I learn? How would I go about with it? What are the qualities I need? So a little bit on that,
Yeah.
please.
So anybody could actually get into sports management. It could be somebody who's passionate about sports. It could be someone who wanted to make a career in sport, but for some reason couldn't pursue it. And this is one work that you would do on the field. So whether you could be standing next to a Federer or you could be
Oh,
standing next to a Tendulkar, and actually making sure that the event takes place. So whether it's a IPL or whether it's a test match or a Wimbledon, I mean, these are the guys who actually make the events happen. So that's what sports management is all about. You could have like 20 different careers uh, after doing sports management.
so I'm just curious, 20 different careers. Now, when you look at sports management, it's not just managing events. You could be managing personalities, I'm sure. Like stars
Absolutely.
and people who are needing managers. You can manage a couple of sports personalities together. So what are the options in terms of career for sports
Yeah.
management?
So like you mentioned, you could be managing an event, you could be managing a player, you could even be managing a facility.
Oh,
You could be into sports journalism. You could be doing merchandising. You could run an academy. So
wow.
there are every aspect. Even running a retail store,
So
running a sports retail store. So
that's
it's
excellent. So you're telling me sports management. If I actually get into a sports management course, or if I do sports management, with ProTouch and iLead combined together, bringing about that career option, I will have all. I will be able, or I can, as I go forward, and if I do very well, can actually experiment and get into a variety of lines.
Absolutely. I mean,
So
anything that you do, and with COVID, I think this career has become even more attractive. And it's not only sport. It's also lifestyle. Working in a gym, working in a health facility where fitness, yoga. So these all come under the sports management course and training. So you could be even operating a gym, or you could be running a yoga center. So
brilliant.
these are all opportunities that have actually opened up, and all sporting facilities now are chock a block,
Okay.
absolutely chock a block after COVID.
So I just want to ask you, the pointers, in this course of sports management, what would the students expect? Like, because it's for me also, when I think of sports management, it's relatively new. I wonder, wow, this is something really on the newer side. So what kind of pointers, or what kind of, like, if I have to put it, as we say in typical terms, yaar course kya hai, padhai kaise hoga, but not that way. So what would they expect if they join in terms of how would they learn? Because it's absolutely different from the usual jargon of typical learning, sports management.
Absolutely. So I've been involved with different colleges and institutions which teach sports management for over 20 odd years. So when we got together with iLead, we thought we will give the children something which will be a little more than just college, going to college and studying. So what we are doing is we are doing a lot of internships. These kids who do the course will actually be going and visiting different facilities. They'll be going and running events. So a lot of internships, a lot of interaction with athletes, superstars, and they will actually get a complete first-hand experience of doing events or being around
So
events.
it's a lot of practical stuff. And talking about practical stuff, I'd like to get back to a little bit on tourism and hospitality. They are trained, people are trained, but I'm sure there are a lot of internships and practical training also happening in the tourism line, Hemant.
That's right, Jimmy. So there is practical training and internship, which is also guaranteed in really A-star establishments, whether it may be hotels or tourism companies or online travel companies or cruises. So that is part of the curriculum.
So,
Jimmy, I'd
yeah,
also
sure.
like to, sorry, I'll also like to say that when we partnered with iLead and we were coming on your show, we decided that we will give a few scholarships.
Wow.
So some of your listeners who are listening in and are keen, and their wards are keen to pursue BBA in tourism, we will give a 50,000 rupee scholarship,
Wow.
and that's valid for the next 15 days. So if they
How do they
call,
go about with it? How do they go about? They get in touch with iLead and
they get in touch with iLead and take your name, Jimmy,
oops, that's nice. Thank you so much.
and
I didn't know my name would be so effective to give them a 50
you
grand.
don't
This
know
is
what your
amazing.
name can do, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you so much. But I think great guys. Everybody watching us on digital and hearing us on radio across the airwaves of the City of Joy. You can have an opportunity of a lifetime because education is not cheap anymore. And if you're getting a scholarship, go for it. If you truly feel you can do something to make a difference in your life, which you love doing, and of course, also look after your loved ones. Because if you make a career out of it, and as rightly said, there's so much of similarity. Tourism and sports management, both places there are icons, there are celebrities. I think somewhere or another, there's a good marrying point for tourism and sports management, because when you look at sports management, there are a lot of events, a lot of traveling, a lot of trips from place A to place B to hotel staying. I've seen how the cricketers, kind of live their lives. In fact, I think hospitality and sports are kind of married to a large extent, whether it be in a small city or a big city. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, it absolutely is, because even sports tourism is, I'm sure, is a huge industry, and there are companies, there are travel companies which actually take people to different golf courses, or take them for a tennis tour, and maybe get arrange for them to go and play in Wimbledon or at Flushing Meadows. So these kind of tourism, the World Cups, whether it's a cricket or a football World Cup, people actually go and watch them. So there are companies which arrange the entire tours, and this is where both tourism as well as sports kind of come together. And if you've done either of the two, you would be able to do something on those lines too.
So I'm just curious. Both the industry. If I look at just one sec, I think. Oh, Indrajit, I've got your other. I think you've logged in from the other device also. That's why there's an echo.
Let me just check.
Yeah, both your devices are on. Okay, now I think it's okay. Now I think it's okay. Okay, I've put the volume level on the other device at 0, so I don't think there should be a feedback. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
Oops, Indrajit, I still think the device is on. Your second device is on. Just now it just came on. I think so. I don't know.
I've put my.
Yeah, you've got both your devices on. That's why the echo is coming.
Is this
So taking on from what Indrajit was also saying,
Yes.
Jimmy, sports tourism. Similarly, there is heritage tourism. There is also a
Yeah.
course on heritage tourism at iLead, because India has such a rich cultural heritage, and people travel for. That is one of the reasons why people travel. So,
So
so
so there's so many opportunities now. I just want to ask you, and both of y'all, uh, students move forward. They are passionate about various areas they want to do or they want to study. So if I have to look at tourism industry, if I have to look at sports management industry, and there are lakhs of people who are listening, there are lakhs of people who are watching us right now. Um, how would you, if I was a student, let's start from tourism, how would you excite me? I love tourism and I really want to do something. How would you excite me to, kind of say, wow, this is it. I made up my mind. I just loved what I heard and I'm just going to try and get into it and put my heart and soul. So what were those points would you put forward to me to excite me, because you are the man who've seen it for the last decades and decades. You've seen the industry, you've seen the tourism, you've seen the way it's grown. You've started off from analog to digital to luxury to the works today, So what would you say to that?
I will say what I began with. So you will travel to great places. You will meet really, really, really nice people. It's people that you will not be able to access in any other of your vocations other than your RJ. Uh, you will meet celebrities. You will engage with teams which are high energy teams, and it's a lot of hard work. Huh? So while it may sound rosy and glamorous, but there's a lot of hard work behind it. But it's a very rewarding career. So other
when you
than
say when you say rewarding, this is one area I'd like to come to, especially when you say rewarding. I can only think of mullah. I can only think of money sometimes out there. How well paying is the tourism industry? Can you get out there and make decent enough money to really look at it as an amazing career?
You mean to say all this money that you will save because you're not spending on any of those lovely things? Yes. So you see, in every industry, the start is a bit slow,
Right, yes.
and you have to stick it out uh, for good about 5 6 years, and over a period of time, it increases. And when you are in the senior management, it is as good as any other industry. You could be getting paid as much as a top McKinsey consultant or
Oh,
a
wow.
you know somebody working as an investment banker.
So there's no dearth of money, and who knows? A lot of people who are into tourism actually start up their own entrepreneurships. They start up their own startups. They have their own businesses. So it kind of just grows and grows and grows with experience.
Very high probability of starting own businesses.
Absolutely, angel investor. I know that
I
out
did
there
one.
who actually making it happen. And talking about that, Indrajit,
Yeah.
sports. You've been there for a long time in sports. Is it okay? Let me bluntly ask you: is it profitable? We all do so much so that we can live a good life. Is sports management in terms of a career in the long run, of course, not in the beginning, is it good? Is it profitable? Is it like wow? I'm doing what I love and I'm earning money on it also.
Yeah, I think that the echo is still there.
Yeah. So
All my devices are off.
now there's
Is it,
one device you're still logged on with. I don't know why. One second. Let me.
if you can,
Oh yes, I removed it. Now you're clear.
yeah,
Talk.
okay, yeah. So just, it's like any other career. When you're starting out, it's always going to be a little slow, but a lot of youngsters I know who have started out with different companies have actually started their own uh, companies, and they're doing really well, and especially player management. The biggest, I think, the biggest attraction is somebody who's passionate about sports. I have so many youngsters coming to me saying that I just want to be with sports. I'm passionate about cricket. I never got an opportunity to play, and today I want to be around that sport. And I think that is your biggest pay, other than, of course, if you do well, you got to be good. Like any other career, you have to build yourself. You got to build your own brand, and just like any other career, if you can build your own brand well, and if you speak well, if you can present well, then there is no There's no dearth to where you can go.
Absolutely, because I know there was one intern who interned with me in radio. He did internship on radio. Today, he is managing some of the finest cricketers in terms of as a so-called celebrity or sports manager for these cricket. I'm talking about big names, and he's a young guy, and that's his career. And trust me, when he joined in as an internship, he was very confused about what career to take. Eventually, he got into this. I think today he's so happy. He's leading a settled life. Uh, he's making pots of money. He's very very successful, and he had it in him. He had it in him. And those days, and I'm talking about this about 15, 20 years ago. Those days, sports management as such was there, but wasn't there. It was there, but wasn't there. And he did a great job. And today we still catch up and say, Jimmy, it just clicked. I did it, and here I am. I'm loving it, basically. So I think it's not just learning only. It has to come from within. I think you must be passionate about what you do, like any industry. And if you're passionate about what you do, I think there's a lot of scope. Now, Indrajit, talking from iLead and ProTouch. So if I have to talk about iLead and ProTouch coming together, so what would the students expect?
I think one of the biggest difference that we will make is we want to make the children industry ready, because most of the courses across the country and even across the world, they are really good. The content is brilliant and everything is good, but when a youngster comes to me for a job, he I still need to train him for 6 months.
Absolutely.
And what I think we've achieved in putting together a course is when this kid passes out and he goes to a company, he won't need training time. He just needs to understand how the company operates. And I think that is where we will make the difference when you compare us to anybody else.
Amazing. So iLead and ProTouch, amazing stuff happening, of course, with the tourism industry and Hemant being out there. Again, BBA in tourism is going to be super rocking. And, before we sign off, Hemant, I want you to give a message to the entire world and across the airwaves of people listening and watching you about the tourism industry, about BBA at iLead. What would you like to say at Direct Dilse?
Guys, India is rocking. In the next 10 years, you're going to see something phenomenal happening in India in every business, and more so in the tourism business. This is the place to be, whether you want to be an entrepreneur, whether you want to make lots of money, or you want to actually build yourself here. So, and we put this course together after a lot of research with iLead, with practical training, 100% job guarantee placement, and plus more now a scholarship if you book till if you take your admission till 21st of March. So, and anytime I'm available. If you have any questions, any clarifications, please ask the iLead counselors and they'll put me on to speak to you directly. Happy to do so.
Amazing. And Indrajit, what would be your message to the world when you're looking at, sports management, or you're looking at the relationship of ProTouch and iLead coming together and giving these amazing courses, which is, really, really sounding exciting?
Well, Jimmy, you said it yourself. They'll say sports and youngsters. Everyone who wants to do sport or be associated with sport is absolutely, they'll say. So when you can make a career out of something you love, I mean, you don't need to look any further. So if you love sports and you can make a career out of it, I think the satisfaction that you will have when you're done with your career is something that cannot give, nothing else can give you that much joy. I think that's all I have to say.
No, this is truly amazing. And, I've got a question here, and I'm sure, I will have the answer for it. It's on someone from the YouTube who's on YouTube has asked. He's saying, how do I get in touch with iLead? I would say it's very, very simple. Google it, find out the site, get into it, and you'll get all your answers out there. It has a numerable number of courses, especially these two amazing courses, which can make a huge difference. Because if you love traveling, you love glamour, you love being, in the action scene, whether it be sports or whether it be tourism, this is it for you. And you've got the two iconic personalities absolutely live here telling you direct dil se ki kya hone wala hai, कैसे होने वाला है, and in the long run you can actually be satisfied with the pots of money you make. And I know a lot of people in tourism and in sports management, some of them even riding their own Ferraris. So who knows when what could happen in life. But thank you for joining us. And I'm sure a lot of students are looking forward for the BBA tourism Hemant out there with iLead, and of course our sports management pro touch, which is going to be happening with iLead. Lots going to be happening. Wishing you guys all the success and looking forward for the student career growth to reach another dimension with both of you all. Thank you so much for joining us live right here on 91.9 Friends FM.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much once again. That was really great. We had Hemant Mediratta and Indrajit Bhalotia with us, talking about tourism, and of course, tourism BBA with iLead, and of course, Indrajit talking about ProTouch and iLead coming together and offering sports management. And if you want to get in and check out the iLead site, it's www.ilead.net.in. That's www.ilead.net.in. You can get onto the site and you'll get all the details there. Thank you so much for everybody watching, listening in, because this was important. Career growths, career options, and iLead has got a lot of them, from business administration, entrepreneurship, travel and tourism, real estate, sports, digital, all management, hospital management, fashion design and management, media science, multimedia, animation, graphics, film and television, data science, gaming, cybersecurity, and it goes on. So if you want to rock it, that's the place to be. And right now, we're going in for a short commercial break, and we're going to be back.